record here, and then I'm just gonna mute everybody for now. You can unmute yourselves just by hitting the little microphone if you want to talk or whatnot. But so I'm gonna go ahead and mute everyone. And yes, that's what I want to do. And then Shannon, I'm gonna unmute you. Which one are you using, buddy? Shannon, unmute yourself because I don't know which one you're gonna use. I see you twice. That doesn't matter.
I have no idea how that other one
popped. Okay. Well, you're good now. So, okay, guys. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna do it's a fairly rudimentary overview of Bitcoin, how to get started, how to use basically the exchanges, the wallets, where you can use the Bitcoin and whatnot. And then we'll begin taking that to the to greater and deeper levels as we move forward and we find what people want to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right in, and I'm going to share my screen here and bring that up. Okay, and then can everybody see the slideshow? You can just pop it there in the chat if you want to and make sure. And then we're going to go from the beginning. Yep, that's what I want to do. Okay. So as I said, we put together this really quick slideshow to, I call it Decrypting Crypto, because the questions we were getting over the past couple of weeks since we had first started, as I mentioned, ranged from very simplistic to, I mean, really not even knowing what a Bitcoin was, on down to, okay, how do we get started? And just from, you know, trial and error and also working with some folks that have been really nice in helping Shannon and I get into this this really interesting realm, we put together some basics that we thought would be really good to share. So tonight, what we're going to go over is we're going to start with some Bitcoin basics. You know, what is it? You know, some basics on just how it works. We're going to go through exchanges and wallets, which are the two key things that you'll need to understand first to be able to use your Bitcoin. And then how to use the Bitcoin, the different uses that you can possibly have it for. You know, not only is it a potential investment, but it's also a currency. And then we're going to get into what about investment, staying informed, which becomes really important. And then some Q&A I figured would be nice to get into as well. So jumping into the first slide is, let's go ahead and answer kind of what Bitcoin is. And I wanted to start this from the very basic, okay? It's a currency, all right? Money in any form, an actual use or circulation as a medium for exchange, okay? You know, back in the old days, we used to use a pig and trade a pig for work or something like that. Well, currency just came along, made it far simpler. So in its purest, most basic form, Bitcoin is a currency. People will accept it in exchange for payment of services. The primary currency that everybody is very familiar with is what's called fiat currency, or government-backed currencies. So those are our US dollars, the British pounds, euros, rupees, of that nature. And then, Shannon, I'm assuming that's you.
That's what?
You have background noise?
It's possible.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. It sounded like someone was flushing a toilet. Anyway, so and then we go into alternative currencies, which is where Bitcoin and interestingly enough, when you look up alternative currencies, there are a number of currencies that are out there, and I just found it interesting due to the research. There was a currency called Canadian Tire Money. I don't know if Andy and Leanne, if you guys have ever heard of this, but it was a company that started distributing this money, and to this day, there are groups and companies that will utilize it as payment for services. Mobile minutes. I have friends in Kenya. They will use mobile minutes as payments for services. And the most interesting one that I had found was in Italy, they'll still use Parmesan cheese as a currency. So alternative currencies are in use all over the world. Bitcoin is really nothing extremely new when it comes to that. But as we get further down into it, we start to see that, you know, what it really is, and more specifically, is it's a decentralized, open source digital currency that can be sent securely, person to person, over the internet. And so that's what makes it quite different than any other alternative currencies that we were talking about. That means there's no banks or clearinghouses, which it reduces fees, makes the transactions extremely fast. Anybody who's been doing any transfers with Bitcoin, no matter where you're transferring it, usually within minutes, but definitely within a couple of hours, it's at the destination that it's meant to go to so that you can utilize it for purchase, barring any slowdown on the network or anything of that nature. Meanwhile, if you try to use a bank with a clearinghouse to transfer money, I mean, that's where you get into the 3 business days and this and that. So it's far more expeditious. Simple mobile or even debit card today payments. So you can use on your mobile phone a wallet that allows you to type in somebody's email address or scan on their phone their Bitcoin wallet address and send money instantaneously. And now they've even come out with debit cards that allow you to just go into your local store, swipe the card, and use Bitcoin to pay for the purchase. We'll get into that a little bit later in the presentation. Extremely fast international payments. The great thing about Bitcoin is it's a universal currency. It's not tied to any one country. So I can give it to a friend in India to pay for something, and they can use it and turn it right into either a purchase, use it for purchasing, or convert it into rupees for a far lower cost than I can take my dollars over there and convert into rupees. And then there's a strong level of identity protection, and there's a lot of different things that you can do to enable the protection of your identity. But in this case, what we're mostly talking about is, unlike a credit card, there's no credit card number to steal. There's no real place for someone to go in and hack and get that and also gain access to your identity. So it really gives a couple great features to the coin. So in the basics of how does it work? So without going in too deep detail, we're just going to start with the surface. Okay, so Bitcoin itself is generated by what are called miners. Okay, and there are individuals out there that are Bitcoin miners, and they do two things. One, they run codes and they evaluate formulas, and they try to look for Bitcoin across the internet web. And the other thing that they do is they are some of the computers that process and verify the transactions. There's actually a pretty large verification process that you go through on the internet in order for, we'll just say, for Shannon to transfer money from his wallet to my wallet. There's anywhere from 6 or more transactions that are used to verify that transaction coming over to us. Well, the miners' computers are used for that, and in exchange for doing that, they'll actually earn Bitcoins from that process as well. So once they mine the Bitcoin and produce it, then it goes up into a decentralized peer-to-peer network. Cloud, as much of us would call it. But basically, it's just a huge network of computers. And then from that standpoint, there's a couple areas. So over here, you have your exchanges. So this is where you would go and get exchange your money, whether it be US dollars or whatnot, to buy the Bitcoin. And then from the exchange, it goes back into the wallet. So that's where you would store your Bitcoin. And then from your wallet, you can use it to either purchase from vendors that accept Bitcoin, or you can put it back into exchanges to invest in either Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. We're not going to get too deep on the other cryptocurrencies here tonight. Again, I wanted to stick with Bitcoin just to keep this as simple as possible. So the next part is, how do you get started with Bitcoin? And it's fairly simple, although it takes a little bit of time to set up, which I know has, from some of the folks I've talked to, has been kind of a daunting process. So we want to simplify it to its basic terms here, and then we can work on helping with other aspects later. But the first step of getting started, obviously, is you need to acquire some Bitcoin. Whether you purchase it or somebody uses it to pay for your services or whatnot, you're going to need to acquire that. And once you do, what you're going to do is you're going to most likely select a Bitcoin exchange. Now, one of the most popular and largest ones out there that we know, and it's great for people just getting started, was Coinbase. Both Shannon and I started on Coinbase. I know, Andy, you said blockchain was where you were using yours. So, you know, that's another one. And there's quite a few exchanges out there, and we'll get into a little bit later on how, you know, things you want to look for when you're choosing them. And then in your exchange, once you get everything set up, you're going to attach it to either your bank account or a credit card, which Coinbase allows you to do both. Or in Andy's case, in Canada, they use a voucher, which they can actually transfer the coins right from the voucher into exchange. There are some that will allow wire transfer and PayPal, although it's not always allowed. It's just, so each one of the exchanges kind of has different rules. Coinbase seems to allow just about everything to get the money in there. And they just recently changed it about 2 weeks ago so that utilizing a credit card, the funds are available instantaneously into your Coinbase account. And then once you have your exchange set up and you funded it and you've bought your Bitcoin, well, then you can get what's called an offline wallet. And we'll go into greater detail a little bit later in the presentation tonight about the offline wallet. But Bitcoin exchanges also have a wallet that they have within themselves that you can leave it there for money that you want to leave online. So that said, I'm going to talk a little bit about the exchanges, and then Shannon's going to talk a little bit about the wallets. So the exchanges, all in exchanges is very simply, it's where you exchange your fiat currency for Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. Okay, that's the primary purpose of the exchange. And you know, as you can see, I listed a couple of the bigger exchanges here. So we have Coinbase, GDAX, which is a subsidiary or is also owned by Coinbase. eToro, which is in the UK, I believe Sex10 is in the UK as well, and then Bittrex, Poloniex, Kraken. So those are all some of the different exchanges that are available. And when you're looking to choose an exchange that you want to work with, there's a couple types of things from the basic level that you want to check on. One, the security of the website and the servers. Okay, so is it going to withstand, you know, being hacked? Because it's just the world that we live in. This is online, so there's going to be people attempting to hack into these accounts. So Coinbase, for instance, has a very secure system, and they also have insurance on the money that's in there. So they have two things. So it makes it a very viable system for storing your Bitcoins. What types of fees do they charge? Now, this is one of the reasons why I started using GDAX rather than Coinbase, because Coinbase was charging for transfers on some of the purchases that we were looking to make, whereas GDAX wasn't. So I had moved my money over into GDAX, set up an account there, and then was able to make those transfers to other exchanges for free. What types of payment types are allowed? So going back to, you know, will allow you to do the credit or just attaching your bank account. What's the ID verification process? Coinbase, for instance, has a pretty severe ID verification process. Poloniex has a very strong ID verification process that you have to go through before they will allow you to open up and start trading on your account. Shannon and I just got involved in one, Kryptonia, I think it is, Shannon, or whatnot, and there's a specific reason we got into that one. But that pretty much was an email address and, you know, thanks for joining. So they didn't have too much of a process for going in. And then the other thing is, if you're going to get into investing, then you want to kind of take a look and see what types of coins are available for you to invest into other coins. So Coinbase and GDAX are pretty conservative. You can invest in Ethereum, you can invest in Bitcoin, and you can invest in Litecoin. In those three, I believe. And that's it. Once you go into like Bittrex and Poloniex, then all of a sudden your world of investment begins to open. So I'm going to transfer this over now to Shannon to talk a little bit about wallets.
All right, before we get into that, did anybody have any questions on what Daniel went over already? No.
I'm going to say no.
Right. Do we want to? I'll share my screen and just show the wallets. If you unshare yours.
Okay. Stop. All right, you should be able to go now.
With the wallets, it's pretty much just like your Coinbase. It can be a wallet also. I need to get in here real quick. It logged me out. The wallets are basically just a storage, so where you can store them to keep them better secure. And then like whenever you decide that you want to use or spend it, then that's when you're going to transfer it over to like Coinbase, and you can put it right to a debit card. Hold on one sec, I'm signing into this here. I'm finding there's many different kinds of wallets out there. Me personally, I am using blockchain. Okay, so right here is my blockchain wallet, and it's basically, it's just, you're going to store it, and then you can send it. If you're going to go to like one of the exchanges, you send it straight from here to an exchange. When you're done at the exchange, then you request it back in. Right now, as you see, there's not many in there. I'm actually trying to teach myself the exchange stuff, so I got it all tied up in playing around with different coins, buying and selling coins. Your Coinbase, it can be used as a wallet too. I've heard it's not as secure as like the blockchain or any of the other ones, but it's still pretty secure. Right now, being new, I don't have that much, so I'm not all that concerned about where it's at. That's pretty much all there is on the wallets. It's pretty much just like a storage. I like to call it, it's the safe deposit box inside the bank. Just a little bit more secure. Is there any specific questions on that?
I'm pretty good on the wallet.
All right. And then just real quick, this is the exchange stuff. It's kind of difficult. It's pretty intimidating. I've been playing around, and I got a couple different coins and stuff. That's something you can worry about later on. So that's, I mean, I don't know. Is there anything else that needs to be said about those?
What was the last part there, Shannon?
Just the exchange, that's where when you start getting more technical, more deep into it. It's not beginner level. Right, I stopped sharing the screen. You want to go back to the
Okay.
slide?
There we go.
And the merchant adoption of the BTC, a lot of the questions is how do I turn it into cash? Where can I spend it? There's the article there, I actually posted it. It said about like 25 companies. That's really kind of obsolete anymore now with the debit cards. Because you get those debit cards and you link it straight to your wallet, and then you can spend it anywhere just like you would the debit card that you have from your bank. So you pretty much can use Bitcoin anywhere now. And from the little bit of research that I've done, the Shift card seems to be one of the best ones for the US. I don't know about the other countries, but for the US, it's the Shift card. Costs you $10 to get, and it uses, you pay it out of your Bitcoin, and it connects directly to Coinbase. So you have your Shift card, and you want to go shopping. You don't have to worry about trying to sell your Bitcoin first. It takes the US dollar amount right out of your Bitcoin account.
Yeah. So, and Jen, to add in there, there's if you just go to Google and Google Bitcoin debit card, you'll get a ton of different articles because Shift is only available for U.S. addresses. I believe it'll work anywhere in the world, but it's only available for shipping to a U.S. address. But that is a pretty cool feature, and what I like about that is, now it's starting to take Bitcoin. A lot of individuals that I had spoken to, they were scared of Bitcoin. They didn't know what it was because it's this thing that's up in the cloud and you can't use it very easily and everything else. And with the debit coins now, it's becoming or the debit cards now, it's becoming a much more user-friendly type system. So to finish this up, I wanted to take a few minutes and we were going to talk about, what about investment? Because most of the stuff that you hear today about Bitcoin is all about, treating it as an investment. But I wanted to spend some time showing that it's actually a currency as well, just like anything else that we use to pay. It's just valued quite differently. So talking about investment, I always wanted to have people keep in mind, whether it's Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, or just any type of investment, there's always going to be a risk involved. There's no guarantee of returns. If you ever have someone online telling you, oh, I'm going to guarantee you this on a monthly basis, whether it's 40% or whatnot, I always tell people to proceed with extreme caution, which basically means kind of run, because there's nobody that could say we can guarantee a specific return. They can tell you what their average returns have been, but not necessarily guarantee. And then, what I always like to tell people is, especially with Bitcoins and cryptocurrency, invest what you're not afraid to lose, because it is a volatile investment. So, that you'll see on these exchanges, you can go and you can do margin trading on them. I turn that off. I don't have that on. Because I don't want to get involved in that because it's extremely volatile. So anything that I put in to my Bitcoin account, and especially when I start looking and playing around with the other cryptocurrencies, I can lose it. It won't matter. So that's my recommendation for this. Take that as you will. It's not hard to see why people are getting excited about Bitcoin as an investment. It started in 2009 was the first Bitcoin trade. And for years, it really did nothing. It had some clips, as you can see here, in 2013, 2014. At those points, it was still hovering around $1,000. And then it had this nice little trough here where it went down. Everybody lost interest. And then 2017, it's really begun to take off to the point that it closed at the end of business yesterday at $5,700 approximately. So, that's crazy. There's just nothing that has that type of investment rebound that your typical person can get into. So it's easy to see why folks are interested in investing in this. So you can just put money in and let it sit and let Bitcoin do what it does and rise and fall and continue to make money. Another level you can go to, and this is much more advanced, we're not going to get into it on this call, but is to invest in the other alternative coins. Now, the two big ones that you've probably heard about, if you've even looked at anything online, are Ethereum and Litecoin. Okay, those are the two other what they consider major coins, and they consider them major coins because of their volume that they trade, and the number of people that are actually actively utilizing them. The ones that are below that, this one is Dogecoin, this one is Digibyte, this one is Electroneum, and some of you probably saw Shannon and I, we invested in this one. And it's brand new. It's actually starts on November 1st. So we put some money into that to kind of see what happens and take a little bit of the excitement. On later calls, we'll get into what we're doing with those and how successful we are. And then
Sorry, Daniel. how do you go? Maybe you're not going to get on that on this call, but how do you go about going from your buying other cryptos from your wallet? That's what.
So that's where, and yeah, we won't get too deep on this call, just because of the time that it takes, but that's where you'll get involved in the exchanges. So not so much Coinbase, but I don't know if blockchain. I haven't looked at blockchain yet, their exchange system, but the other ones that I showed, like Bittrex and Poloniex, those two open up an entire world of alternative coins that you can invest in. And the basic process is you're going to transfer some of your Bitcoin from your wallet in blockchain, for instance, and you're going to transfer it to an account that you open in one of those exchanges. And we will get into that a little bit later on how that works, utilizing the addresses and everything. And then you would go in and you would buy your alternative currencies on those exchanges.
Okay.
So I wanted to give, and we're going to continue to build this list. And so you guys on this call know, I mean, Shannon and I, we've been talking about this since, what was it, February, March, Shannon, about, kind of following this and planning to get in. But we really only got in about a month ago. Is when, at least when I finally pulled the trigger and started spending some money on it. So just in a month, I've built a little list of resources that I like to follow. CoinDesk is a great one. It talks about all the news that's going on with different cryptocurrencies. 99 Bitcoins, should be crypto, not Crypto, coin news. Again, they're just really great resources on what's going on in the industry. And things to look out for. And then the last one I put there, it's spelled right. It's Suppoman, and he is a guru on YouTube that I went to, and both Shannon and I took one of his introductory to crypto courses. And it's about 22 lectures that he gives. He was offering it for $10, but and it was on his YouTube site. And you go there, and I mean, it was really a great education in great detail of how to get started, how to begin investing, all those types of things. So it really depends on where you want to take this for yourself. So with that, I'm going to end the slideshow, and then I had just brought up. I mean, so Shannon showed you his Coinbase account. So, I mean, we all have kind of the same thing. And, here's the dashboard, basically how it looks, tells you what you have in your portfolios. Most of my money has already been transferred over to other exchanges because I'm using it for investment now. Shows you your activities, all that type of good stuff. And depending on...
Dan,
yeah.
If you're trying to show yours, it's not showing.
Oh, no. Try that. Oh, I see.
Your PowerPoint's still up.
Yep, thank you. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the Coinbase dashboard. This is what you saw on Shannon's before. Kind of shows you everything, all your transactions and whatnot that you've done through Coinbase. As you can see, like I've transferred money out to GDAX. Most of my money right now is on the markets. So I put it into Coinbase at first, and then just started moving it out to GDAX and then into other areas. Now this is what GDAX looks like. This gets a little bit more technical, and you can really see the pricing charts and the histories, what the trade histories are. And this is all stuff that in that video by those videos by Suppoman on YouTube, he goes into how all of this stuff works. And I mean, I can literally get pretty addicted to it and sit here at 2 a.m. and just kind of pour over this and start to figure it out. Shannon and I on Facebook, we have Shannon and Dan's crypto chat. It's just a Facebook chat messenger that we put together, and what we're trying to do is get the folks that are interested in having these conversations and whatnot to join in here and chat and let everybody know what they're doing, so that we can help each other out, because it's a lot of information to pour over, and I just think it'd be great to have a team together that can help folks out. So if you guys are interested in that, message either Shannon or myself, and we'll make sure you get into that. There are some, that's my dog. There, there are some support groups that we're in on Facebook as well. We'd love to get you guys in there. Those are part of other investment deals that we're getting involved in and learning. So there's a lot of support out there. Here's the Coin Desk. So, all the different, things that go on there. Now, and I will tell everybody too, you're going to see a lot of information on both sides. There's going to be negative, oh my God, Bitcoin's never going to survive, everyone's going to lose all their money, to the ultra positive, like it's the wave of the future, it's going to go over 10,000. I encourage, especially in this industry, try to read, read, make your own opinions. And again, just always invest what you can afford to lose. Because we don't necessarily know where it's going to go. But billionaire Warren Buffett doubles down on Bitcoin doubt, so, of course he's going to come in and, drive everybody nuts because Warren, he's a pretty smart guy. He's done well with investments. But then again, you see companies like Microsoft and Starbucks and Subway accepting Bitcoin as payment. So somewhere in the middle is probably the truth. And I always look at it, it's been around since 2009. It hasn't gone anywhere yet. And there's a definite need for this type of a system. When you go to YouTube, that's exactly how you spell his name, Supple Man. And you can go there and like I said, this guy's got videos galore. Very intelligent, very, he's probably one of the better that I found on YouTube dealing with this stuff. So with that, I'm going to stop the screen share and, just kind of open it up. If anybody has any questions or things we might like to see on the next call, let us know.
Well, it's Andy here. I'd definitely like to know how to, because on November 1st that Electroneum opens up, and I'd like to get some money into there. But I have got a clue how to go about doing that.
Okay.
I don't know if I should open up a GDAX account. Is that better to?
Yeah. Shannon, so Kryptonia is one of the exchanges. Do you remember the other two that Ash mentioned?
I can't think of it. I do know there's a post, and we can get with him later. I'll find that post and get it. But the Cryptopia, that's the first one that I did, and playing around with it because it seems like that's definitely going to be one.
Yeah.
That it's going to be on. Actually, I think they said there's 3 of them. That I think it's like Lotto or something like that. But I can find that for sure later here.
All right. So Andy, we'll check with Ash. We know the one because both Shannon and I did. Both of us did. How do you pronounce it, Shannon? Cryptopia?
I call it Cryptopia.
Oh, okay. That works. Some of the names of these are as great as the names of the coins themselves. Yeah, it is. It's Cryptopia. So, Andy, that's the one that Shannon and I signed up for. So, as a matter of fact, what I'll do right now is I'll throw it into the messenger for you. And you can have the link to that. So that's one of the exchanges that they know Electroneum is going to be sold on. So I will throw that into the messenger for you. And then what you're going to want to do is go set up an account there. Where did my thing go? Oh, nuts. Cryptopia. And then, and that's the easy one actually to set up the account on. They didn't really require too much from that. And so, all right, there you go, buddy. And so you want to set up there, yeah, because the news we've gotten so far is that that's one of the exchanges that Electroneum is going to be offered on. So November 1st, you'll be able to go on there and kind of get started early. If you need, once you have your account set up, if you want to just kind of do a one-on-one or something like that, and I can show you very quickly how to move the money from your blockchain account over to that, whatever you're going to want to put into it. I can show you how to do that in pretty short
Well,
time.
is there an option on there to just use your credit card to buy?
No, Cryptopia. Well, hold on.
All the exchanges, that's going to be, it's trading. It's going to be using one coin to purchase another coin.
Okay.
So when you get into exchanges, you're not going to be using credit cards, bank accounts, no cash. It's coin for coin trading.
Be wallet to wallet type thing.
Yeah, because you can't even Cryptopia. You can't even put U.S. dollars in, which that's going to be a lot of the smaller ones. You can't. So far as what we've found, so it's fairly simple to do once you get it set up. We'll take you through the process, but you're gonna say I want to deposit. You're gonna say what type, which would probably be Bitcoin, and then what it does is it generates an address, and then you're gonna take that address and put it over into your blockchain that's where you're going to send it, and I can walk you through that process pretty simply if you have any challenges with it.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's what you want to do. And I would definitely go ahead. I was already playing with Cryptopia today and made a couple trades and everything on it just so I could get used to the platform. Because on November 1st, we don't know how crazy this is going to go. And, we bought it at about a penny a piece. So it may come out at a penny a piece, or it may come out higher. That's what everyone's trying to speculate where it's going to be, or it could be lower. So, so you want to have everything set up so that if it's there and if it's a penny or lower, then you can go right in and do a buy order. Because there's probably going to be a pretty crazy week, that first week with it.
Yeah.
So I mean, from a standpoint of a next step with this type of a thing, would it be helpful for us to create some videos or whatnot that show a little bit more of the trading, or Andy, Dave, what would you guys like to see?
Probably more of the trading.
Okay, more into the trading. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good to see for sure.
Okay. And there's definitely some other options out there as well that we can branch everybody out into. There's some investing options. There's the direct investing, and then there's sort of group buying situations that we'll get into, and we'll talk more about those as we go along. But for tonight, I kind of wanted to keep it short. And was this helpful?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, I got to check out those sites.
Okay.
You learn something new every day.
So. Well,
something hot new.
well, awesome. Well, Andy, I'm gonna because I know I'm connected with you on Facebook. I'll add you into our little message chat room that we're trying to get started, and that way, if you have questions, it's easy because that way everybody can see it and hopefully jump in, and we can create a little community there.
Yeah, perfect.
So
it was helpful. I liked that it wasn't like an overwhelming amount of information. It was just small little tidbits, because I am completely illiterate to all this. It's all new to me, so it's good that it wasn't like a system overload type thing. But yeah.
It takes like an hour.
Yeah, we appreciate that feedback because Shannon and I were talking about it, and I do have a propensity to just deep dive on everything. So I kept trying to keep it as surface as possible, but also do enough that if you came across somebody else, everything wasn't completely foreign to what you were seeing. So, well, guys, we appreciate you hopping on tonight. We'll get you added into the chat and do some follow-ups. We're also going to work on creating some PDFs and things like that going forward that hopefully will be useful to kind of walk people through steps. So that's it with that. I'm done. Shannon, do you have anything to add?
No, just a question for them since they're on here. Is there any specific days or specific time or is this a good time for everybody? Do you think if we were to do this once a week or once every 2 weeks?
Very good time. I think once a week's good. I mean,
Yeah, it's the time is good. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it every week, but the time is good for me. Yeah.
Oh, they're
Okay.
gonna be they'll be recorded too. So if you can't make it,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That is the nice thing about utilizing Zoom is we can record it and we can put it out on Facebook and people can grab it.
you get
That doesn't mean don't show up though, because
information
we do.
overload.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, you guys have a great night. We'll add you into the chat, and yeah, anything that you need, let us know.
Great.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Good night.